I was born in 1839, into circumstances far from gilded. My childhood was humble, and ambition was not yet a word I fully understood. But even then, I carried a vision of order where there was chaos, a belief that one man with the right principles could build something that would last. Today, I want to share with you the 7 rules I lived by, not just to build wealth, but to shape an empire and ultimately leave a legacy. These are not mere tactics, they are the philosophy that guided me through decades of triumph and challenge. Rule 1. Master the foundation before you reach for the sky. At the beginning, most men chase opportunities. I chased understanding. In my early days in the oil business, many rushed into wild speculation. But I insisted on gaining command of the basics: cost accounting, transportation, refining logistics. I watched every barrel, every cost, every delay. When I built Standard Oil, I didn't lean on others to supply my barrels or my refineries. I insisted on owning the source. Because if you don't master the foundation, your foundation will betray you the moment you grow too fast. I remembered this always. A strong foundation is not visible, but its strength supports everything above it. Rule 2. Turn chaos into order. The oil industry in its infancy was nothing but chaos. There were fires, accidents, speculators, wildly fluctuating prices. But where others saw danger, I saw structure. I created standard procedures, standardized barrels, refined processes, efficient transportation. I pushed for lean operations. I moved swiftly to integrate from well to refinery. I turned chaos, that primal, unpredictable swirl, into a well-oiled, pun-intended machine. That is the secret. Chaos is not a threat, but a force you can direct if you have a plan to tame it. Rule 3. Eliminate the middleman. Dependence is weakness. I refused to let others dictate my cost structure or my supply chain, so I began purchasing everything: barrel factories, chemical suppliers, even pipelines. When you control more of the chain, you control your destiny, and you cut costs. By owning every step from production to delivery, I didn't just build a company, I built a complete ecosystem. My competitors saw Standard Oil as a monstrous machine, but I saw it as a carefully assembled symphony of interlocking parts. Rule 4. Think decades ahead. Men are often trapped by what they see today. I trained my mind to consider tomorrow, and the next tomorrow. When crises came, depressions, price collapse, lawsuits, I didn't react as others did. I planned. I once said, I always tried to turn every disaster into an opportunity, and I meant it. It was not enough to survive. I wanted to thrive. Decades after I was long gone, that kind of thinking demands patience, clarity, and a relentless commitment to a vision that transcends one's own lifetime. Rule 5. Move quietly. Let your results speak. I have never liked fanfare. My decisions were made in private. Negotiations happened behind closed doors, and expansions were gradual, often invisible to my rivals. When I acquired pipelines or refineries, I did not broadcast it. I didn't boast. I simply acted. And when the world understood what had happened, Standard Oil was already everywhere. In business, noise is wasted energy. True strength is silent. Rule 6. Compete ruthlessly, ethically. Some accuse me of ruthlessness, but what I practiced was a ruthless pursuit of excellence, not violence, not exploitation. I sold my kerosene cheaper than any rival. I made it purer, safer. I offered reliable delivery. I promised long contracts. I did this not through deceit, but through superior value. I believed in competing fairly, not in pulling others down, but in outperforming them at every turn. Yes, I amassed power, but I also believed in responsibility. My ambition was great, but my conscience was not absent. Rule 7. Give what you cannot take with you. Wealth is transient. What you build with your hands may crumble, but the good you do with your fortune, that can echo through generations. In my later years, I dedicated myself to philanthropy. I founded institutions for education, medicine, science. I poured my wealth into causes that could change lives. The University of Chicago, Rockefeller Institute, public health. I came to see the greatest investment is not in oil or property, but in human lives. Legacy is not about how much you own, but how much you give. These were my 7 rules. Master the foundation. Turn chaos into order. Eliminate the middleman. Think decades ahead. Move quietly and let your work do the talking. Compete ruthlessly, but with ethics. Give generously, because that is how we build something that lasts. I am John D. Rockefeller. My life was more than business. It was purpose. It was discipline. It was vision. And though I am no longer here in flesh, my principles live on. If you wish to build wealth, not just for yourself but for the long term, then adopt these rules. Use them, test them, let them guide your decisions. Because true wealth is not measured only by dollars, but by the impact you leave behind. Thank you for listening. And if you believe in timeless wisdom, subscribe and join me on this path.